So now let's move on to the underground world, because you have mentioned there are underground tunnels in cities, and you've been there. You've been under Getty Museum,
Yes.
and we'd like to know what exactly does it look like. Can you tell us about it?
There's a whole life underneath the ground. There is every means of transportation: cars, boats, buses, golf carts, trains, ships. There's every means of transportation under the ground.
Are they more advanced than what we have up here?
Yes, there's some things that, like, let's say flying cars. All those things are something that has already been created, already been done, tested out, and then before it is brought to people like us, it's something that somebody already has. So let's say a flying car, once it's perfected, it's given to the elite first. And basically the elite pass down their hand-me-downs to the people after they played with it. It's like a shiny toy, if that makes sense. So what goes on underground is perfected before it is brought to everyday people.
What you're saying is there are flying cars. There are advanced techs underground.
Yes.
So do they have internet? How do they communicate down there?
There's different air sources and supply underneath the ground, so it is not the same air above ground. There are different means of life, so the second you get underground, things cut for a minute, but you have to get deeper into your destination before you can get those type of things back, because the way that it works is there is basically everything that is above ground, it's taken underneath, but only to certain areas, if that makes sense. Like, when I was taken under the Getty Museum, once I reached a certain point, the air was choking. You can't breathe. It almost burns your nose. It burns your nose. It burns your throat. You have to get to a certain point before their air supply kicks in. The same thing with internet. The same thing with cars or different sources of transportation. You're not going to be able to just, once you start getting underground, it's going to be somewhere where you can drive. That's not a thing either. It looks like if someone was digging into a hole underground, but you have to get so far to be able to get to cities, clear tunnels that are not just dirt. Things still fall from the walls. It depends on where you are in the tunnel before you can get to basically what is city life underneath it.
All right. So the city, is it illuminated? Does it have a sun up there?
There's light. I wouldn't call that a sun.
No, that
there's
was
light.
like a metaphor. It's like, how
Right.
illuminated is it? Underground cities is kind of big, and it takes a lot of power to illuminate the whole area. So that's what I'm asking. So how illuminated is this? Like, how much power they're consuming?
Again, it depends on where you are. It depends on where you are, because you can get to a certain point where you can barely see, but there's cars. But then again, you can get somewhere else, and someone has built these tunnels to where while you're driving through one, there's lights as if you would drive through like a freeway tunnel above ground. And you know how when you get in there, there's lights along the wall.
Yeah.
Until you get out of it. They do that as well. So it just depends on where you are. I hope I'm making sense within the tunnels.
When you're under there, you know you're underground. It's not the same as above the ground.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not the same at all.
What kind of facilities do they have? Facilities that we don't know of, like
baby farms.
Baby farms. They grow babies underground.
From victims that are pregnant, they house them until they have their babies. And then when they have their babies, they put them in the baby farms. And from the baby farms, they sell these babies. They get them from the hospitals. Some people have had the situation where they've had a baby, they don't get their baby back, or they don't see their baby, or sometimes the baby is switched out with another baby. Planned Parenthood plays a big part in it as well. They get them from everywhere. They take children and they leave them down there. Some of the children that I've seen down there, they act like animals. They don't know how to act like people, some of them. Some of them do, some of them don't. But they'll act like animals. They'll hiss at you. They'll growl at you. They don't talk. I was scared of them at one point, but then you start to feel for them, because you don't know what they've been through, and you don't know why they act like that, because it's not normal.
How many babies, how many victims are kept under that city?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Okay, so because we've heard there are probably millions Do you think that
Yeah,
makes sense?
I do. There's an area. Yes, there's an area underground where they keep the bones of children that are dead, the skulls of children. They keep souvenirs of the limbs of children and put them on a wall. And the smell is something that you can't help but to throw up to if you're not used to it. Yeah.
All right. How do they manage their food supply? How do they manage their defecation? Like they gotta pee and poop, right? How do they manage all that in the baby farm?
The children,
The children, yeah.
yeah, it's not a you get to go to the bathroom or you get to get up and take a break. It's not like that. If anything, they leave them in it. You have just go where you are.
Okay.
If you have to sit in your own piss, if you have to sit in your own feces, you will. If anything, some people have sick fetishes where they like to play in it, have sex in it, eat it.
Wow.
It's not something that's managed. I know somebody asked me before, well, does anybody take care of the babies that are down there? Does anybody hold them or change their diaper or anything? And this is not the situation where there's a babysitter down there that cares about those children. Those children are being used for torture, and they're people who take satisfaction in hearing a child's ribs crack when they have sex with them, when they penetrate them, when they squeeze them to a point where they stop breathing.
I see. I get that. Under these kind of situations, a lot of babies die every day. Does that happen? Not from rapes, but
Exactly.
die naturally because nobody takes care of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. Right. There is no proper burial or respect for burial. They throw their dead bodies somewhere. If they throw them somewhere or if they sell them to someone, it's not like that.
Okay. So there's other thing that you mentioned during your previous interviews is that you have seen cloning facilities. Is it real? How does it work?
Yes. There's cloning facilities. If you research it, people have been using doubles for years. And again, a lot of people are like, I can't believe that. It's not a joke. It's not just in a movie. People clone people. People use masks, huge slip-on masks that they can change into someone else. People use body doubles so that someone doesn't get noticed if they're going somewhere or trying to do something. Yes, cloning facilities are underground and above ground. There's cloning facilities, there's hospitals below ground, there's baby farms, there are dental torture systems underground.
What's a dental torture system?
There are people who have their dentist chairs, and there are dentists that go underground and they run experiments. They sell teeth. They implant chips in teeth. They put victims in dentist chairs and torture them. And sometimes it's not like this. I'm not saying that there's this big place with cubicles and dentist chairs. There's sometimes a wide space, just open space where they do these things, and sometimes they build them a certain space underground.
It sounds like a video game. I used to see the dentist like tortures them and live stream them on dark web.
That's not if that was a video game, wow, but that's not fake.
Yeah, that's a video game. No, you don't play as the dentist, but that's the ending where you see how they torture people. That's the ending, like the prize that you get for a horror game. Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not a joke. That's
about the cloning thing, but we saw this last year. The current so-called president Biden is not the same guy he used to be. He looks different, right?
No.
Because you have been trafficked to Biden and Obama. You've had close contact, physical contact with them. So you can help us confirm that is not Biden, right?
That is not Biden. Biden, the real Joe Biden, has blue eyes. The real Joe Biden does not. That's not the real Biden. That's not the real Biden. The Biden that you see right now, that's not him.
All right. But where do you think the real Biden is?
I don't know where the real one is. I can just say that I do not know where the real one is.
Because we suspect that maybe they have like a schedule where the real ones are working behind the scenes now, giving orders, things like that. So the ones in front of the TV, they do their job. So we trying to see if there's a system of how this works. That's why I'm asking.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where the real Biden is, but yeah, that's not him.
All right. I've received a lot of attacks for saying there's a underground tunnel under Getty Museum. They said, well, can you show us how to get there and live stream? I have this question. Can you give us a detailed description on where and how to get the entrance of the underground tunnel? It's not like I'm going to go there, but
No.
no.
Right. But no, I cannot. There are tunnels that are hidden in plain sight. But when I went to the Getty, I was walked through the museum. I was walked through a garden, and an employee that worked there helped us get to the very first door to be taken down an elevator into where artifacts were kept covered as if they were no longer in the museum. We were walked to a certain point and then entered through a tunnel, and then we're driven to another point and then taken to our job. It's not something that I don't think that anybody knows exactly how, where do you get to it, because the entrances and exits are not just something that's just out there, but they are hidden in plain sight. But I don't know exactly how to get there, or else, trust me, you probably wouldn't be seeing me on camera because I'd be going back for some of my friends. It's not like that. And if you are running through a tunnel, if you're trying to get out, there's tunnels that go every single direction, miles and miles and miles long. So the more you try to run, the deeper you get, and you will get stuck and you will get lost. So it's not just, oh, I'll just find this tunnel. It doesn't work like that.
Has there been anyone who died in a tunnel trying to escape?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not somewhere you can just go. It has to be very carefully led to, right?
Yes.
All right.
And to exit, when I was in there several times, to exit you have to be let out. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go out the way I came in. And they do that on purpose so that no one is just going to walk in and out.
All right.